almost lives. Okay. Ready? So, real estate licensing. The very first question, and I like to start every chapter with a question. Here, luckily, the question comes with a chapter, which is, who must be licensed? Well, anyone who takes part in a real estate transaction for another person for a fee, commission, or other valuable consideration must have a real estate license. So what does that mean? If you're helping your father, Victor, if you're helping your father sell his house, do you need a license? You're helping your father sell his house. Do you need a license?
I'm assuming yes.
You're assuming yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So the key thing here is when you read the questions, because I told you I was going to trick you from beginning to end. When you read the questions, the key thing is, are you getting paid?
Well, yeah. My thought was like, as I'm getting some sort of commission, but if not,
Okay.
I don't think
So if you're not getting paid, the answer is no. You don't need a license because you're just helping somebody else for free. Right? Nobody ever, right? All right. What if your father says, you know what, Victor? If you help me sell this house, our family home, you know that car that's in the garage? You get the car. Just help me, you get a car. I won't pay you, but you get the car. Do you need a license?
No.
Valuable consideration. If you expect to get some type of fee, commission, or valuable consideration, the answer is yes. Any type of exchange of value for the services that you're performing, you need a license. Okay? So look into the questions, dive into them because they will trick you. If you're not paying attention, it's my father's house. Why would I need a license, right? Oh, I'm getting a car. What is a car? It's not money. Yes, it is. It's consideration. You got it? Cool. Now, the state of New Jersey created real estate licensing regulations to protect the general public from unscrupulous brokers and salespeople. In New Jersey, licenses have been administered since 1921 by the New Jersey Real Estate Commission, operating within the Department of Banking and Insurance. Now, these licenses are governed by the Real Estate License Act, known as Title 45, Chapter 15, and rules and regulations are set by the Commission, known as Title 11, Chapter 5 of the Administrative Code. I want you guys to write over here, NJAC 11.5. NJAC 11.5. And there's a reason for it. Because in the book, as we progress, they're not going to mention New Jersey Administrative Code, Title 11, Chapter 5. They're just going to make a quick reference to NJAC 11.5 and then whatever line it is. Okay? Next, on the right-hand side, it says right here that you can find this at the end of the book, the statutes and regulations. You can go there if you want at the end. It's up to you. We're going to cover almost everything throughout the book. So there's no point in just going straight to the statute and regulations, okay? And throughout the book, it says, hey, go here to NJAC 11.5, line A, 2, B, whatever, and you go there and see it. It's at the end of the book. Or you can do the smart thing, which is Google. A lot easier. Now, as far as the Real Estate Commission, the New Jersey Real Estate Commission is a division of the Department of Banking and Insurance. And it's composed of 8 members. Make sure you highlight, underline, put stars. Composed of 8 members appointed by the government. 5 of these members are real estate brokers and have been licensed as such for at least 10 years. Next page. So they have been licensed as such for at least 10 years. 2 are chosen from the general public, and one represents a department of the state government. So one represents the people, two represent the people, one represents the government, and 5 are brokers. So the Real Estate Commission, as we just read earlier, they're the ones that regulate what we do. Okay? Next, real estate licenses. Classes of licenses. Do you guys know, without reading, what type of licenses we have in the real estate business? All right, what kind of license did you come here to get? Salesperson. Real estate salesperson. That's one. Great. I was kind of wondering if you're in cosmetology class. So real estate salesperson. What else?
Insurance.
Nope, not in real estate.
Broker.
Broker. Who else? Referral. And there's one more. We call them the hybrids. The broker salesperson. All right? So we're going to go over in detail, but I want to start with the very first one, the broker. And we're going to stop right here for a second. We're going to repeat this a million times in this book, which is every time you see broker, don't highlight yet, just look at the word broker. Every time you see broker, we're talking about the broker of record. So make a reference. Every time you see broker as a standalone, nothing else attached to it. Broker. We're talking about broker of record. So who's the broker of record? Well, he's the one that's authorized to operate real estate business, to hire salespeople, and to charge the public for services. We're going to repeat this a million times, that the broker is the only one that can do this. Charge for services. The only one that can represent somebody else. Okay? Now, every real estate company must have one person, just one, who is the authorized broker for the entire company. And again, this is the broker of record. Okay? Any questions so far? Nope. Great. Because the next one is the salesperson, you guys. It says here that the salesperson works under a sponsoring licensed broker, doing business in the name of that broker, and look what's in green. Receiving what? Commission or compensation only. Make sure you circle or underline, double underline, triple underline, only from that broker. Can we get paid by someone else's broker? No. Okay? So if you're under a sponsoring broker, let's say I'm your broker for this example. I'm the broker. You guys work under me. Who pays you? What about the seller? What about the buyer? What about your cousin, your cat, your dog, your parakeet? They all pay the broker. And then the broker splits with you because you are an agent of the broker. You got it? So all dealings, we're going to repeat this again a million times. All dealings happen through the broker, the one responsible for everybody. Okay? Now, the supervising broker is required to furnish guidance and direction and is personally responsible for the real estate acts of the salespersons under his or her supervision. So if you screw up, I screw up. So I don't want you to screw up. So what is my job? To provide you with guidance and direction so that you don't screw up the deals. You got it? So as a broker, I'm supposed to be there for you. That's your first mentor. It's your broker. Okay? Number 3. These are the hybrids. And the hybrids, I call them hybrids for a reason. They qualify, as it says here, they have fulfilled all the requirements of a broker. And we're going to talk about those in a second. But they still choose to work under the salesperson capacity. Right? So because they qualify to become brokers, but they want to be a salesperson, they are called broker, salesperson. They're not the broker of record. They have no authority in the company, and they don't pay anything to anybody else. They still get paid by the broker of record. And this is going to sound like a broken record, but you have to repeat this over and over and over and over. There's a bunch of questions in the exam about who pays who and how. So, very important. Now, Olga, you mentioned referral agent, right? So that's the fourth one here. I just want you guys to know that this license no longer exists. I'm still responsible for talking about it independently, but it no longer exists. Now what we have is active agency, and we have a referral agency. The broker is the same, so let's say it's me. And if you intend to refer only, you're still a salesperson, but you're operating under the referral agency. Okay? So your license is strictly salesperson. It's just that if you want to be a referral agent, the only thing you can do under the referral agency is refer. It's the only thing you're allowed to do. Make sure you highlight, underline, circle, put arrows, bubbles, stars, whatever you want to put. But you have to remember, if you're a referral agent, all you can do is refer. That means we cannot prepare contracts, we cannot show houses, we cannot discuss any dealings regarding real estate. What can we do? Hey, Victor, I have a buyer. Lucia wants to buy. Could you handle it, please? And at the end, just give me some commission. Simple. From here on, you're his. What do I do? Absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, you close, you're happy, I'm happy. Because I didn't do anything and I got paid. I just made an introduction. Now, how many people do you know that you're going to talk to and say, hey, if you have a buyer in mind or a seller in mind, bring it to me? Right? As soon as you're licensed, you're going to tell everybody, right? And what do they usually expect? Commission, money, because they're going to refer somebody to you. Hey, where's mine? You're about to make $10,000. Where's mine? Right? So unless you have one of these, you cannot get paid for referring. You guys got it? Everybody, anybody that participates in a real estate transaction for another person, for a fee, commission, or the valuable consideration, must have a real estate license. Whether you're the broker, the salesperson, the broker salesperson, or a referral agent. But you must have a license. You got it? Yes. So.
When you're, if I'm a referring agent, right, and I refer someone to you, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
is there like something binding between us that says you're gonna pay me?
Well,
Or is it just like,
between us, no.
so then like you close on the house?
If I'm the one referring to you, yes, I'm going to put it in writing. If you refer to me, don't put it in writing.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So you would still put it in writing?
You better. If you got what I was trying to say, you better. Put it in writing at all times. You want to get paid? Put it in writing.
Okay, but then.
So this is the way it's going to happen. So
when you're a referring agent, you still work for an agency,
you have to, for a referral agency.
for a referral agency.
For instance, I didn't include there, but we have New Direction Realty as the active agents,
Okay.
and we have New Direction Referral Agency. So that's only for people that operate as a referral company.
Okay, so if you're working for that referral agency, for instance, and someone's referring, they're actually going to the agency, getting the paperwork, filling it out, and sending it out?
No, the way it works is, hey, I have a buyer for you in your area. What's going to be your area? You know?
No,
Newark? Can't. I'm here.
too bad.
Anybody else? Other towns? Well, let's say you're doing something that's commercial, and like you specialize in commercial deals, and I don't, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to refer to you, and I say, hey, Stephanie, I have a commercial buyer. Are you interested? Because if not, then I have Victor. Simple. You say yes, okay, I'm going to send you a referral form for you to fill out, and this is how much I want for the referral. So I'm going to tell you up front what type of commission I want. It's negotiable. You can tell me, no, that's not what we're doing. Right? Because you have to get approved by your broker. Remember, you're a salesperson. So who approves commission values? Broker, right? I can tell you I want 50%. Your broker is going to say that I'm nuts. 35, maybe. 50, definitely not. Because you're going to do all the work. You got it? So we're going to put this on paper. I send it over to you. You sign. I sign. And that's it. Now you have a client. Until you sign, the client is not yours. You got it? The other way around, you just send me a contact info and that's it. And I'll do the rest.
You got it.
You're going to trust me, right?
Yeah.
Of course. All right. You guys got it? Can we refer? Yes. Any of these 4 licenses, by the way, can refer. I do referrals all the time. I prefer referrals than doing the actual business because I'm here, busy, teaching, right? If I was not teaching, then I would do the actual business. Does that make sense? But referrals are great, especially when it's out of the area. I focus in a particular area, Newark. So, with that being said, anything outside of Newark, I refer to other people. Unless the client really says, Bruno, has to be you, you're highly recommended, and this and that. And I always try to push to somebody in my team first, right? But if there's no way around it, then I'll do the business itself, okay? But referrals are great because you need to learn how to delegate, right? Why is this important? If you have a client, let's say I'm the Newark area, right? If I have a client down in Atlantic City, imagine having to show houses every day in Atlantic City while having clients here, right? And not being ridiculous of giving like 2.5 hour span, but what about it in Woodbridge? Woodbridge is still 30 minutes away. Have you guys ever tried to come into Newark? Right? The driving into Newark, the driving in Newark, plus parking, plus all that stuff already tells you that if your market is Newark, let go of all other markets. Don't get involved. Focus in Newark, stay in here. There's enough money to go around for everybody. There's enough sellers, enough buyers. There's plenty of deals. All right? Does that make sense? All right, cool. Next. All initial, renewed, and reinstated licenses, are issued on a biennial term that expires on June 30th of odd-numbered years. Biennial term means that every 2 years. And we're still in 2019, right? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. So that means this year I have to do what? Renew my license. Next year, do I have to renew it?
No.
Do you guys have to renew it?
No.
No. But in 2021, odd number years, 2021, you have to renew it again by June 30th. Because as of July 1st, you're no longer licensed unless you renew it. Okay? Very important. And this is all licenses, whether you're a referral agent or active agent, salesperson, broker salesperson, or broker, everybody has to renew. Now, these are just some statistics I want you guys to look at. It was in 2017. The numbers are a little bit different, but not too much off from what we see here. Instead of 93,000 brokers, broker salesperson, and referral agents, we have roughly 116, 17 more or less, so it's not that much more. And there's about 375 of me, real estate instructors. The good news about these numbers is that there's no competition whatsoever. Because even though there's over 100,000 people of you, right, only 30% of the people actually do something. The other 70, some of them do something along the way, and most of them don't do anything. They just have a license, they studied, they worked hard, they passed, and then, okay, now let me relax and focus on my job. Yeah, not many people do what they spend their time here to do. And it sucks. Sometimes it's because of the person, him or herself, right? Sometimes it's because of the agency that it went to. That's why I tell you guys, go interview several agencies. Don't go because somebody said, hey, come here because it's the best. No, go interview. Get familiar with the other ones, okay? And some of them is just because this is not for them and they have a license. So just because we have these active numbers, these are active licenses, not active salespeople. You guys got it? So is there any competition? The answer is no. You are your own competition. You got it? People say that Newark, for instance, Newark, Jersey City, these places are saturated with agents. They're not. Like I said, most of my market is Newark. And I know a bunch of people that handle Newark. And still, no competition. Especially now, because it's being flooded with people that want to buy. The problem is getting people to sell. You guys got it? So there's enough business to go around. Next, it says right here that the trademark terms realtor and realtor associate. Did you ever hear this term, realtor? Yes? Is that the license you came here to get? Realtor? Did you come here to become a realtor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, right?
Yeah.
But your license is salesperson license. To be a realtor, you got to be a part of the National Association of Realtors. It's a private trade association. So it's not licensed, it's a membership. It's like a union. Or I call it the gym membership. Because for you to have access to the tools that we have at the gym, you have to pay your dues. And then you have access to all these tools. Okay? Good? Now, activities covered. Do you guys have any questions so far? Pretty simple, straightforward? Good. All right, so when the work is being performed for another person, in anticipation for a fee or commission, you need to have a broker's license to list real estate for sale, on the right-hand side on top, to sell, exchange, buy, auction, or rent real estate, to collect rent, to solicit prospective purchasers or sellers, to negotiate a real estate loan, to sell lots or other parcels for a developer, to sell business opportunities that involve real estate, or attempt to do any of the above. So any of these bullet points, including the previous one, list real estate for sale, you need to have a broker's license. Now you guys are getting your salesperson license, so what can you do? Very simple. Please highlight. A salesperson license allows a holder to operate under the supervision of a licensed broker to assist in. Circle this. To assist in. What do we assist in? Negotiating the purchase, sale, or exchange of real estate, negotiating real estate loans, leasing, renting, and collecting rent, and selling lots or other parcels for a developer. This is the only thing we can do. Okay? Is there anything here missing that you thought that you guys with your license would be doing? Because what it says here is that we can negotiate the purchase, sale, exchange of real estate, negotiate real estate loans, leasing, renting, and collecting rent, and selling lots or other parcels for a developer. Look at the previous list, the one from the broker, and tell me, between these two, which one, what's missing that you thought you would do and not the broker? Compare the bullet points.
I would probably say just the solicit.
Solicit? Well, we do that with negotiating.
Right.
Nothing? Let me go back and show you. List real estate for sale. This is usually what I say that salespeople think they do. Okay, and this might be a question in the state exam. So that's why I always go back to this. List real estate for sale. You need to be a broker to list real estate for sale. So, do you ever hear agents saying, hey, I just got this listing? Or it's my listing. Did you ever hear that? Yeah, all the time, right? I knocked on the door and I say, hey, would you like to sell? I'm the one that goes there, not my broker. I'm the one that goes there. But when I bring the listing, I'm bringing it to the office. And the listing belongs to the broker, not to me. I'm the listing agent, but I'm not the listing broker. Does that make sense? The listing broker is the one that lists. So if you're a RE/MAX agent, that listing that you just acquired becomes a RE/MAX listing. If you're a Century 21 agent, the listing you just acquired becomes a Century 21 listing. So if you ever leave that office, what happens to your listing? Stays behind. Because it doesn't belong to you. You're the agent, not the owner of the listing. The brokerages. You guys got it? It's very important. Until you become a broker yourself, so you're asking, Ella, you're asking about broker before. This is going to start clarifying along the way. But until you become the broker yourself, the listings don't belong to you. All right? The listings always belong to your broker. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And who pays you? The broker. Right? Because everything goes through the broker. And the broker is responsible for supervising and guiding you. Now, exemptions. It says here, a real estate license is not, so circle not, required for owners handling their own property. Now, we call these unrepresented sellers, or for sale by owners, or FSBOs. Okay? They're unrepresented. Because if they're represented, there's an agent. If there's an agent, it's a salesperson, broker salesperson, or the broker him or herself. Okay? If they have no representation whatsoever, again, they're called for sale by owners. They do not need a license because they're selling their own property and they're getting paid from their profits, not a commission. Okay? Now, attorneys, executors, trustees, receivers, administrators, legal guardians, and others handling real estate under the order of a court. If the judge said so, right? Judge says, Lucia, you're going to represent this person in selling the house. If the judge gave you an order, that's it. You're following an order. So it's not, a license is not needed because you were appointed by the judge. You got it? Now, if you make this your everyday practice where you're helping other people sell real estate, well, you need a license now. Okay? So the only exemption for you to help somebody sell their house without a license is if you're appointed by the court. Okay? That's the only exemption. If you're appointed by the court. Banks and trust companies and insurance companies do not need a license either. Okay, does it say insurance brokers? No. So insurance broker still needs a license. There might be a question, I'm not saying there will be, but there might be a question that says insurance broker. If it's insurance broker, this person always needs the license. There's 4 options. There's traditionally 2 that don't matter, and then 2 that are very similar. So by process of elimination, you get down to 2. In your mind, you're going to see insurance broker. The moment you see broker, for some reason, your brain admits the fact that it's an insurance, not real estate. Okay? If it's an insurance broker, he or she still needs a real estate license to get paid in a real estate transaction. Okay? I'm going to show you how your brain tricks you into answering the wrong answer. Okay? Next. Payment for services. As I usually say in every single class, it's the only part that matters in the whole book, which is you getting paid, right? Nothing else matters. Forget rules and regulations, just give me my money, right? Of course. So look what it says here. Please highlight, underline, put stars, arrows, bubbles, whatever you want to put. But to collect a commission, one must be licensed at the time that the service is performed. So picture this. Your license expires tonight. It's June 30th. Tomorrow is the closing. Are you getting paid? Mm-mm. You're not getting paid. Why? Because you let your license lapse. Now, you might have a good broker that will hold on for the money for you because, you know, brokers are nice like that. But you might have also a bad broker that says, oh, you lost your license? So, yeah, sucks for you. Good for me because it's now in my pocket. He gets paid. You want to give money to your broker? Well, the answer should be yes, because they're sponsoring you, but not all the money. Okay, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Now, it is illegal for anyone to share in any portion of commission without a real estate license. So can your broker pay an insurance broker? No. Well, but it says license. As long as they have a license, they have a license. They're brokers, right? But it's not a real estate license. Okay? And one of the answers might say licensed insurance broker. Again, two things, and then you don't see the middle part, which says insurance. You see licensed, you see broker. Yes, they can get paid. No. Okay? You must have a real estate license in order to get paid in the real estate transaction. Now, a broker may share commissions only with his or her associated salespersons and referral agents, or with another broker in the event of a cooperative listing or a referral, including a broker who is licensed in another state. So to make it very simple, this is my agency right here. Sorry, guys. My agency right here. And let's call this the Bruno Real Estate Agency. I can pay you guys whatever I want, whenever I want. Good? You guys cannot pay anybody other than yourselves in the real estate transaction. I can pay you, but you cannot pay anybody else. Good? Now, Bruno Real Estate Agency, and right here, let's say it's Remax. You guys work for Remax, I'm sorry. Okay? As a broker, I can split commission with whoever brings me a buyer. So if Victor from Remax brings me a buyer, I'm going to give money to his broker. And his broker will then split with you, whatever way you guys agree. Good so far? Now, what if I'm referring to somebody in Florida? Can I pay somebody in Florida?
If you're a broker, yeah.
If they're a broker, real estate broker. That's the key. So if there's a real estate broker in Florida that I'm referring to, we can split commission with somebody in another state. You got it? Can I split commission with that broker's agent? No, only with another broker. So that's what it says here. It says that within my office, I can pay my associates. Between different offices, I have to pay the broker, and then the broker handles that split with everybody else. You guys got it? Can we refer to Florida? Can we refer to PA? New York, California, any state, right? You guys understand what I'm trying to say here? We don't need to have licenses in other states, Ella. We just need to have somebody there to refer to and get paid here in our home state. Okay? I see people going out there and getting a bunch of licenses. Why? Like, I need it as an instructor for me to teach other states. But unless that's your daily activity, like your business there, or you spend 6 months in that state and 6 months in this state, why would you have a license in another state? Get your 25, 30, 35% referral without ever having to go there. You guys got it? It's such a powerful license.
I
Tell
need
me.
it for another country.
I'm sorry?
I need it for another country, not another state.
You can do that too. The rules are a little bit different. But if you need it for Portugal, I got it.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, where do you want to buy?
Where do I want to buy? I want to sell.
Okay, tell me where do you want to sell?
I want to sell real estate there.
Oh, you want to sell real
When I
estate?
move.
Oh, when you move. I thought you just wanted to have something there you want to buy or sell. I'm already looking at dollar signs. Fine, I can still help you get appointed there. Anyway,
So, quick question. So, it's still, if you can refer in another country, it just like changes some stuff?
we're live. I cannot talk about that right now.
Okay.
No, the thing is, are you referring somebody from here to another country? Because
Yeah.
if you are, then you have to check with the real estate commission what you can and cannot do and with your broker.
And if it's the same thing like there.
If you have, and same thing, but if you have somebody in let's say in Portugal that I want to, the person is in Portugal, I refer them to buy or sell, I don't need a license from here to do business there.
Okay.
If it's somebody from New Jersey
Yeah.
that wants to buy in Portugal, in Brazil, in Spain, in Italy, in Japan, if somebody from New Jersey and I'm a licensed real estate agent, check with your broker. Okay? Because there might be some restrictions in terms of commission, because your broker is the one that gets paid in the real estate transaction. And again, we're going to end this chapter talking about the guarantee fund, which is if you screw up, there's a fund set aside to protect the people. Right? And if you're referring somebody from here to another country, it's already bad enough within the state. It's already bad enough within states. Now to another country, yeah, they want to make sure that your client is protected. Right? So every time you represent yourself as a real estate salesperson, remember, you represent a broker and the brokerage and the state of New Jersey, because it's a New Jersey real estate salesperson license. Okay? So very careful with that. Now, I said that nobody can get paid unless they have a license, yes? But every rule has an exception. In fact, one exception after a new law went into effect in early 2010 allows, please highlight, underline, put stars, a selling broker to rebate part of the commission to a buyer in the form of either a credit or a check. So first thing I want you guys to write is right here where it says selling broker. I want you to circle that, put an arrow towards the empty space, and you're going to write buyer's broker. Because there's a listing broker and there's a selling broker. The listing broker represents the seller, and he or she is the one that puts the property up for sale. A selling broker is the one that accomplishes the sale, because without a buyer, do we accomplish anything? No. So whoever brings the buyer is the selling broker. Whoever brings the house is the listing or the advertising broker. Does that make sense? So selling broker is the buyer's broker. So who can give money to the buyer? The buyer's broker. Okay? Now, why would you give money to a buyer? Isn't the buyer supposed to have money? Right? They're going to buy a house. They're supposed to have money, right? So why would you rebate or give credit or a check to a buyer? Anybody?
Is that the same as like part of the seller's concession, or is that simply because of commission?
Sales concession is the seller paying. Commission, here rebates is from the agent giving money. Yep.
Does that have something to do with like closing costs and stuff like that?
It might have something to do with closing costs, to contribute towards the closing costs. See, we're supposed to, and we'll talk about this is chapter 21, so it's towards the end, but we're supposed to help a buyer and the seller estimate how much they got to bring to the table or how much they're going to get from the table. So the seller, they're selling for $300,000. Mr. Seller, you're going to get roughly $250,000. The other $50,000 are real estate commission, closing costs, fees, whatever. Got it? Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer, you need to come up with 3.5% down payment plus closing costs. We might be able to get the seller to contribute towards the closing costs. So like Olga said, sales concession. And we'll talk about this along the way. But you have to be ready with 3.5% down payment, for instance, plus another 2.5%, 2.6% towards closing costs. So you got to have that money. Now we get to the closing table, and it's actually another, $1,000 or $1,500, and the buyer goes like, I don't have that money. I was not expecting another $1,500 today. What are you going to do? You're going to let the deal fall through because of $1,500? Most of you are going to get paid $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. For $1,500, let's close. You call your broker, say, hey broker, can I discount $1,500 from the commission? If so, that's what we're doing. At closing, we drop $1,500 in the commission. Those $1,500 will be a rebate in either the form of a credit or a check at closing. So it's not money coming out of your pocket, it's just less money coming into your pocket. But at least the deal closed. We win some, we lose some. But we get a bunch of referrals. Okay? Now, there's two ways to do the rebates. Traditionally, rebates must be upfront, like you advertise this as a rebate upfront. So not just about the closing costs, but we advertise upfront saying, hey, if you come with us, I'm going to give you a rebate working with us as a buyer. That means I credit you part of what you have to pay, okay? And it should be part of the contract. But the other way is what I just said. We get to the closing table, there's not enough money. Let's just make the deal happen, right? 7.
In a case like that, does that mean you're really losing out, or could it actually be the broker losing out as well?
Well,
Like, does that, if you're saying like, I just want to make this deal and you're calling your broker, then is it like deducted from the total amount, or is it deducted?
so
from
you're calling your broker because your broker is the one that makes those decisions,
Right,
and then everything else is between you and your broker. Some brokers, and just to let you know, there's some agencies out there that they want 6% commission, let's say. Any listing below 6%, you're responsible for the difference. So you're already getting less commission, and on top of that, you got to pay the agency the difference between what they would receive and what they're going to receive by you allowing a lower commission. So it depends. It's
kind of
between
up
you
in
and
the
your.
air.
I'm sorry.
Right, it's just up in the air how you're,
It is.
okay.
Some agencies will help you. Other agencies are like, hey, not on me. It's your fault. You don't know how to negotiate. So it depends on the brokers. Okay? That's why I say it's very important that you guys go and talk to different brokerages, ask about their training, ask about the fees that they charge, what's their structure, right? And then make an educated decision. So with that being said, when should you look for a broker?
Yeah.
Now. Start interviewing now. Very simple. By the time you pass your state exam, the first thing you want to do is activate your license, right? So you need a broker, and that's going to be in 4 to 5 weeks from now. Start interviewing. Yeah, it goes fast. All right, finally. I'm sorry?
It does.
It does, right?
Unless you become a fixture.
Unless you become a fixture, yes.
I'm becoming a fixture until I pass this damn class. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, with that being said, you guys signed up for a whole year course. This is a 4-week course, but if you guys want to come to the next class, and the next class, and the next class, as many times as you want is fine. And I'm telling you this because, not because of your friend Fixture, but I'm telling you this because I did have a person a couple of years ago that he was on disability. And he came to my morning class, to my evening class, to my weekend class for 3 months. He's going to every class that he could. I'm like, John, why are you here? I keep on seeing you. It's like, I almost feel like we sleep together. You're in the morning, you're in the evening, you're on the weekends. I only have Sunday off from you. And he says, you know, Bruno, the thing is, when I go home, I can't study. Like, I can't. I have to be here. So I'm going to take advantage of my disability and spend as much time in class as I can because this is my study guide. Repetition. And he worked. He passed at the first try. So if you guys want to come to the night class, you can. If you want to come to the day class, you can. You miss one day, come to the night class. Just figure out when am I covering that chapter. So that's one of the reasons why I have Stephanie here, we have Olga, is because they are all over the place. You know, well, Olga. Stephanie's from the night class. And she's just making up the chapter that she missed, right? And it's open for you. You can come, as long as there's seating available, which obviously in the morning there is, in the evening I can't guarantee, but as long as there's seating available, come to as many classes as you want. The only thing I'm going to force you to do is at the end of the 4th week, the week after, so the 5th week, I schedule the school exam. So regardless, you're going to have to do that one, okay? Yes? One reason for it. In the past, people wouldn't show up for a school exam. I left it open. The school policies from the previous school that I was at, in the past, left it open. What did that mean? It meant that, hey, you finished the course, congratulations. Whenever you want, come do the school exam. You cannot go to the state exam without having the school exam done and a certificate from the school. So time goes by, and goes by, and goes by. And then a year later, it expires, the contract. And if the contract expires, guess what you have to do? Retake the classes. All right, so make sure At the 4th week, we conclude the course. 5th week, you're taking the exam unless you missed a few chapters. If you missed chapters, then you cannot take the school exam. You have to come here to the morning class, to the final chapters, right? But that's it. You just have to complete at least 90% of the course, which is 20 chapters. That's the requirement. Okay? But feel free to jump around. Now, finder's fees. As I said, monies or gifts to unlicensed persons who refer buyers or sellers are also forbidden. So there's a lot of people advertising out there, hey, if you find me a buyer, if you find me a seller, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars per lead. Illegal. If it's related to a transaction, illegal. Unless that person is licensed. Okay? If you're paying a service, there's a lot of companies out there that are service based. And you're getting leads, and hey, it's up to you what you do with them. If you close, you close. If you don't close, you don't close. You're still paying per lead regardless. Then that's okay. A finder's fee, which is, hey, Victor is the buyer, and I'm going to say, Ella, thank you for bringing me Victor. Here's some money he just closed. That's illegal. If I'm paying Ella constantly for giving me leads, that's okay. As long as it's not related to a particular transaction. The moment I say, hey, thank you for bringing me Victor, we just closed and here's money, that's what makes it illegal. Okay? Other than that, she's an advertising agency, as an example, and she's giving me as many leads as she can and getting paid per lead versus per deal. You see the difference? Right? That's why you have Zillow gives you leads. There's a bunch of marketing companies that give you leads. By the way, stay away from all these. Stay away from Zillow leads, Truly leads, any kind of leads. Create your own leads. Okay, and I'll talk about that more later on. Now, unlicensed assistants. Do you guys think an office can have people that are not licensed? Of course, right? To do the clerical work, right? So, salespersons and brokers often use assistants, secretaries, and similar support staff who are not licensed to perform activities that require a license. Now, in general, prohibited activities are those involving contact with clients or customers. Let's figure out what they cannot do. An unlicensed assistant or secretary may not show property, answer any questions about listed property, make cold calls by phone or in person seeking business from potential listers, purchasers, tenants, or landlords. As unlicensed assistant may not discuss or explain a contract with any other real estate document with anyone outside the brokerage firm. They cannot make telephone calls for rent collection, or, please, I like this right here, except when accompanying a licensee. Highlight just or underline just that section right there. Except when accompanying a licensee. They cannot host an open house or promotional booth, distribute promotional material, or attend a home inspection. Can anybody tell me what's so wrong about open houses? I mean, they're open. Like, walk in, walk out. You don't even have to talk to anybody, right? Or promotional booths. You're just giving out promotional material, right? So, or home inspections. Literally, you're just there in the corner while the home inspector does everything because it's not your business. You don't know how to inspect. So what's so wrong about these activities and having your assistant there instead of you?
Because you're representing the broker.
Because I'm representing the broker?
You're like an extension of the broker, but if you're not licensed, and you're supposed to take responsibility
Okay.
of, whatever is found in the house, let's say, if you're doing an inspection, you have to have the knowledge.
Okay.
So if you're not licensed and you're not representing,
Okay. So I cannot be there because if they find something, I'm supposed to know about it?
well, you're supposed to have the knowledge.
Okay, but what difference does it make if I have the knowledge or not?
You're still liable.
How am I liable? See, here's the thing. I'm only liable if people ask questions. That's where I'm trying to get at. All right? I'm supposed to be knowledgeable for who? Well, to whoever asked the question. You guys understand?
Yeah.
So my unlicensed assistant cannot be there without me. So except when accompanying me, they cannot be there by themselves, right? Because potential buyers or sellers might ask questions. And when they ask questions, who is licensed to answer those questions? I am, not the assistant. And that's what makes me liable. Because if he or she answers certain stuff that's protected, as we'll talk about tomorrow, confidentiality, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, right? Then whatever representations that particular sales assistant made makes me and my broker liable. You got it? No.
That means physically there, not like FaceTime or.
Yeah, we don't do a FaceTime thing yet.
Okay.
If somebody does FaceTime, oof, what kind of agent are they? That's a problem. Like, hey, you know, I'm at the spa, but if you look there in the corner, there's a leak happening.
I see that, correct?
You see that crack? No, not yet.
Well, what happens if they're selling out of state?
See, that's why you need to refer to somebody else.
I know, but some people don't.
Well,
Is it wrong?
it makes it very difficult for you to do your business. That's why I was telling you, again, refer. Because otherwise you have to travel
I've
there.
personally seen it being done, that's why I'm saying.
Oh, I know. I've seen the FaceTime too.
Yeah, there's nothing like wrong with it, it's just the knowledge, like.
How can you best represent your client if you're not there?
I mean, if it's an emergency and you're like actively on FaceTime, and the
What would be an emergency real estate?
children, death.
Oh, that you as an agent cannot be there? That's what you're
The
saying?
broker or, you know, the
Someone licensed.
yeah, something like
Okay.
that.
So if I cannot be there, then I'm going to have somebody in my office or my broker. If I cannot be there, I'm going to have somebody in my office or my broker to represent me. That's why when you guys go on vacation, your deals stay behind, but you don't call into the closing table, hey, I'm here at Bahamas. Are we closing? Where's my check? No. We have somebody else assigned in the company. Hey, Mr. Buyer or Mrs. Buyer, John is going to take over for me while I'm away. Or I'm sorry, there's an emergency, but my broker, Pedro, is going to help you from here on. Do you understand? But we don't do FaceTime or out-of-state sales by ourselves. That would be very unprofessional and open to liability. Because if you're not there, how can you see what's happening with the property?
Right, I think I actually meant it in reverse, meaning like, you're representing someone from California, but they're trying to buy in Jersey. So you're actually purchasing for them, so you might have them on FaceTime.
Oh, you're purchasing for them, so you have a power of attorney?
Not necessarily purchasing for them, but let's just say someone from California calls you, like, look, I'm looking for this, right, in Newark. So you're okay with that. But you're like on FaceTime showing them the
Showing them the house. Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you that. I've bought several properties
That's what I'm saying.
without seeing them. But
There you go.
I was an investor, not a realtor. As a realtor, I personally would avoid it. Like Mr. or Mrs. Potential buyer,
Buy-in.
could you come in for a weekend or something? I mean, it's not that expensive to come from California here. So
So it's basically not illegal, but it's not the best thing to do.
correct. So that's something we're gonna go over tomorrow. That you have to care so much for your client that you give this type of advice. But if they still want to do it like that, I personally would have some type of waiver signed.
That's what I was gonna say. Are you technically liable at that point for something?
You're always liable. We're the licensed ones.
I mean, I can see where if there, you have a couple of properties to show them and you can go into the property and kind of FaceTime them in to take a look at the property, but before they buy it, let's say, oh, I like this one, I really like this one, so I would say come in, fly in, take a look, if that's
Yeah.
really the property, check it out, make sure there's no issues with the property, and then buy it.
It happens all the time on $1 million listings. I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying. it
TV
does.
shows,
They're scripted.
they are scripted.
Fine, but I could see it happening
No,
with someone from like
Listen,
wherever, like China wants to buy in New York and they're not flying in.
it does. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Right,
What I'm telling you is always try to advise your clients
right.
to be present. All right, unless they're your customer, which is something we're going to talk about tomorrow in chapter 3. There's a difference between clients and customers. If you're a transaction broker, it reduces your liability. They're customers. But if you're a seller's agent, they're clients. If you're a buyer's agent, they're clients. And that increases your liability. So you should always have something that protects you, especially when it's out-of-state buyers. Okay? It's very difficult. Look, we're getting into the virtual age, right? Like I said, I already bought property without seeing it. There's a bunch of auctions online. You can buy properties on auctions. You can sell the properties without seeing them. There's property that I bought and sold, and I never stepped foot in it. The first property that I ever bought was 15 years ago in Texas, and I still have not seen the property. It's been 15 years. It's there. It's 20 acres and then another 10 acres in Texas. I know it's Rolling Rock. I know it's an upcoming area, and in the next 10 years, probably it's going to be worth 4 times what I paid for it or more, right? But I never seen it. Is it risky? Hell yeah. Did I have an agent? No. If I had an agent, the agent better have told me, hey, you better come see this. You know what I'm saying? We're getting into the virtual stage. Yes, you can film everything. You can even do VR stuff where people feel like they're inside the house. Does it catch everything? Is it for the normal buyer? No. The regular buyer that wants a house to live in should see the property. That buyer that says, hey, I just want to spend money. I need to spend money. Then whatever, yeah, this is the house. It's treated different. You guys see what I'm trying to say? It's treated different. You still have to care for them. But the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will hit you hard. The Real Estate Commission will hit you hard if you don't care for your clients. The fines that we're going to talk about are hefty if you don't care for your clients. You got it? So can you? Yes. Should you? No. Got it? And at one point, drag the client here if you can.
Google Map. Did you Google Map your Texas property? Is it still there?
Oh, it's still there. It's still a bunch of rocks and dirt. But the surrounding areas are improving.
All of a sudden you got like 10 houses on your property.
There's a wall coming up. It's going to be prime real estate. This was not a political reference, let me just make it clear.
No.
I'm not a supporter or non-supporter of those political references. I just think once it's a private community, it's worth more. That's what I tried to say. All right, what can they do? So unlicensed assistants cannot do a bunch of stuff, but what can they do? Because they're very helpful. You know, if you don't have an assistant, things get tough. In the beginning, you might not be able to afford an assistant. So what do? We share one. So have you heard of groups like I was going to say Michael Myers. Wow. Michael's Myers groups. Can you imagine that? But imagine that guy, Rob Dukansky, for instance, that Rob sells jersey. He's all over the place.
Yes.
You still don't know who
Never seen him. He's,
when you're driving, you just look down? Or
nope, never seen his face.
Like billboards and like.
It's definitely on the ranch. coming
the
down
billboards,
on
it's in
nine.
every
I
single,
think
have you seen
He
it?
doesn't go on the 9.
I think
I don't-
78 is there
Maybe,
too.
I don't go that.
What are you talking about? It's like he's all over Jersey and New York.
Don't see his face.
Okay, good. Because it gets annoying. He's a great guy, but it gets annoying seeing his face all over. But now there's others. There's a bunch of people popping up that they sell, whatever. Now, they have a group of people and they share assistance because otherwise things get tough. You cannot by yourself list 300 houses a year and have buyers for 300 houses or more. It's like you only have 24 hours in a day, right? So you need teams, you need support. So what they sometimes do is share this type of resource. Now, what can they do? They can answer and forward calls, but anybody can do that, right? We have Google can do that. There's phone.com can do that. So we don't need help from an assistant. Virtually can be done. But here's what they can do. They can process and submit listings and changes to the multiple listing system. They can place signs on properties and pick up keys and deliver documents. And they can schedule appointments for showing listed properties. They can set up files, track and secure documents, and only under the direction of the licensee, they can have keys made for company listings, write and place ads, type contract forms, order items or inspections, and prepare flyers and promotional material. They can keep records of and deposit earnest money, secure deposits, and rent. They can follow up on loan applications. And the last one, nobody needs help with, so we're good, right? You can compute your own commission checks, right? And in fact, you're so good at it that you already spent the money before you even got it. So on this house, I'm going to make $5,320. That vacation is exactly that, right? And then we don't close. Yeah. And there goes the vacation money. Anyway, but I just want to show you guys what really they're helpful with. Look at this. They can make keys for company listings. That's quick. But write and place ads, type contract forms for you, right? Order items or inspections. This is clerical work that you don't have to bother with, right? Place signs on the property, schedule appointments, all that stuff. Your job is to be out there and getting more buyers, getting more sellers, right? Not to be at the office typing stuff. So at one point you need to evolve. And that's when you're strictly a salesperson, not salesperson slash administrator slash, you see what I'm saying? Accountant slash. You need to evolve and start delegating the stuff. And that's when assistants are important. Now, I have several different assistants. Most of them are paid on a deal basis. For instance, you have to make a flyer. I'll pay you for the flyer. You have to make business cards. I'll pay you for that. And these are assistants. They're considered assistants. For instance, Fiverr.com, Upwork, Freelancer. These are people that you hire for certain specific things. They're assistants. You're not paying them, hey, let's do a flyer. If I sell, you get paid a percentage for doing the flyer for me. No, you paid for the fee. You guys understand? Write and place ads, the same thing. Type contract forms, maybe somebody at the office. Because now they have your buyer's database, you have your seller's database, and you call them up and say, hey, the buyer just wants to put an offer of $500,000. Could you prepare the contract, please? And they start preparing it. You understand? It's as simple as that. Can you have these people? Yes. Should you? Yes. Right away? No. Because you need to know what they do, so they can never tell you. And I had a business before where I had two employees that created a little riot inside the office. And they started to do things their own ways, and they go like, they don't know what we do, talking about the bosses. They don't know what we do, so we can control this. And I'm like, okay, let's have a meeting. We had a meeting. Like, well, Bruno, this is what we're demanding. I'm like, okay, no problem. So we start comparing with other companies, what they do and what we do, and they found out that we're actually more generous than every other company. But they still insisted. One of the persons there in the group said, no, I'm not getting involved in this, right? But they still insisted on this mutiny, right? Right, no problem. Once they start saying, Bruno, you don't know what we do. You don't know anymore how it is. I said, okay, so this is what you do. The process is, you do this, that, and then you do this, that, and so on. I start branching out every little detail of what the employee is supposed to do, okay? Which is very important. When you have an assistant, you need to show them that you know. Because otherwise they get very comfortable in thinking they have power. Now, I'm not saying this in the wrong way. I'm saying this, people should be there with you, not against you. Okay? So treat the person properly and get treated the same way. Give them enough power to help you, right? But don't let anybody take all that power. So it is said that even the greatest masters of martial arts, they never teach everything. There's always one thing missing, one key missing. Why? Because the student should never overtake the master. Does that make sense? Right? Now, my assistants, can they become real estate salespersons? Yes. Should they? Yes. And then we all make more money together. Does that make sense? All right. So they're very, very, very helpful. I cannot stress enough how helpful an assistant is. But before you have an assistant, you must have a license, yes? Yes. Great. So to become licensed, here's the qualifications. To become a salesperson, and if you guys don't qualify, you have to leave now, okay? You got to be 18 years of age or older. Open the door, right? That's all you do. You have to prove high school education or its equivalent. You have furnished evidence of good moral character. On the right-hand side on top, you have to successfully complete 75 hours, which is what we're doing here. We might do in 75 hours, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. It all depends on how the class goes. But 75 hours is what they deem safe to cover the whole subject, okay? Now, you have to disclose your Social Security number for child support enforcement purposes. As I always say in every single class, you made them, pay for them. Simple as that, right? And I'm telling you, because you could lose your license real quick. You need to provide documentation of citizenship or legal residence in the United States, pass the state examination, and the most important thing of all is, can anybody read the last one in green? Absolutely. So you're going to pass the exam, right? And then you got to be sponsored by a licensed real estate broker to do what? Highlight, underline, put stars to activate your license. Because once you pass the state exam, they're going to give you a piece of paper. And that piece of paper says you passed. It even has your picture. You passed. But then that piece of paper is just as good as this one. What do we have here? It means nothing until you activate. And that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. When is the right time to look for brokers? Now. Because once you pass, what do you want to do with it? Activate it and start earning. You got it? Until you activate your license, you cannot handle anything in real estate. So make sure you have a broker to go work with. And usually what I tell my students is that I personally don't care where you're going to go as long as you place it somewhere right away. It's only $25 to switch from a broker to another. If you're not happy, move. But don't be like some of my students that they're a week away from, you're going to have 1 year to activate your license. And you're a week away of activation, call me up, says, Bruno, I'm a week away from activation. I'm like, it's been a year already? Sarcastic. I'm very sarcastic about it. So now the only thing you have that you can do is go straight to Trenton. So find a broker, get the papers, and instead of the broker submitting to Trenton, you drive down to Trenton. True stories. I have one recently. He thought he had until, I think it was the 12th or 13th of November. Came to find out, it was the 6th of November. So it was like a week before. So it expired, it lapsed. You went to class, right? You passed the state exam, and you never activated it. After 1 year, that expires. Place it somewhere, activate it, get it done with. Even if you go do something else in your life, it's active at least. And you know what you can do if you're not ready for real estate? Because that's what some people say, oh, I passed, but I don't think I'm ready for this. Okay. One of the first things I told you today was refer. There's always somebody talking about buying or selling. It doesn't have to be you, but at least your license is active for you to get paid for every referral. Does that make sense? I really don't care which agency you go to. I'll give you all the support needed. But place it somewhere. Okay? It sucks when people come to me, a year went by. Do I have to do this again? Same jokes. That's the problem. All right? So if you don't want to hear, I'm going to have a bunch of jokes throughout this 4 weeks. If you don't want to hear my jokes again, activate it. All right.
Or we will when we do the 12 minutes.
Well, it's a little different. Those are different jokes now. It's only 12 hours. It's like 2 days. It's quick. And I'm working on new material, so. All right. Now the applicants for a broker's license must be 18 years of age or older, prove high school education, right? Good moral character. So everything is exactly the same as a salesperson, except for these two right here. You have to have served at least 3 years full-time as a licensed salesperson. 3 years full-time licensed salesperson. And you must have successfully completed 150 hours of study, consisting of 90 hours of general broker pre-licensing course, 30 hours of pre-licensing course on broker's ethics and agency law and relationships, and 30-hour pre-licensing course on office management and related topics. So how many hours do you need to become a broker? How many hours do you need to become a broker?
Plus.
Oh,
Say loud. Plus what? 75. So what's the total? 225. You have to understand, if the question is open in it like this, then how many hours do you need? Well, it doesn't say you're salespeople already. The question just asks how many hours do you need to become a broker. So that includes a salesperson license, course, and the broker's course, 225. If the question says, John, an agent with Remax, as an example, they'll say XYZ agency. But John, an agent with XYZ agency, wants to become a broker. How many hours does he need? Well, if he's already an agent, then he's already a salesperson. If he's already a salesperson, does he need 75 hours? No. You got it? So how many hours does he need? 150. Got it? Cool. I'm telling you, state exam is tricky. If you don't pay attention, it's bad. All right. Referral agent license. What do you need to do to become a referral agent? It's very simple. It's only 3 bullet points. The very first bullet point says, to become a referral agent, you got to do everything all other licenses do, which is 75 hours here, plus state exam to become a referral agent. You get paid for referrals only. Okay? Number 2, you have to submit a certificate stating that the legal restrictions on the brokerage activity of a referral agent have been reviewed with a supervising broker. That means on top of doing 75 hours like everybody else, on top of passing an exam like everybody else, you still have to do fingerprinting, activate your license, all that good stuff, and tell the world that you're not going to participate in any real estate contract, that you will not show houses, that you will not even talk about real estate at all, other than, you want to buy? Great. Victor, could you help her buy? Simple as that. So a certificate that says you will not handle any type of real estate other than referrals. Yes?
But you can always change your mind later on, right?
You can,
Years.
whenever you want. You just got to pay $50.
I have a question.
Yes.
So let's say you're registered with a broker,
Mm-hmm.
then you get a job that's a conflict of interest and you can't have your license active.
I'm sorry, say it again?
So you're active with a broker, but then you get a job where you can't have a license active,
Like a bank?
like a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Can you remove it from that broker for, let's say,
Send it back to the state? Yeah.
and like within a year, like you have a year,
2 years.
2 years to reactivate it? Okay.
Every time you let your license expire, you have to, well, at least until the next renewal term. So if you put it on hold, your license still expires. It's on hold. You're not active anywhere, but still expires on June 30th of odd number year. You have 2 years after that, but within 2 years after that to reactivate it. Yes. Okay. Is everything okay?
Kids, it's normally
Okay.
dismissed.
No problem. That's okay. Just, I added you to the group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you want, you can watch. You can listen on the way. Now, don't watch while driving. It's not. So, but I added the 3 of you to the group. You guys saw it, right, when I did it? All right, so Change of status can be done, yes. All right, exceptions. Because again, every rule has an exception. It says that the experience requirement for brokers or broker salesperson license can be waived. So circle can be waived. First of all, before I read the rest, can be. Does it mean it will be?
No.
Is there any guarantees?
No.
Not at all, right? So it says the experience requirement, which is the 3 years to become a broker, can be waived for a non-early discharge or veteran with a service-connected wound or disability. So that means that a veteran can become a broker instantly. Just has to do the 75 hours and then 150 hours right after. They don't have to wait the 3 years. Okay? So where it says experience requirement, write 3 years full time. Right above the experience requirement, right here, you're going to write 3 years full time. Okay? Next. It says the commission may agree. Does it guarantee? Again, it does not guarantee. So may agree to waive the education requirement for, the education is the 75 hours or the 150 hours, right? Classroom time. From a licensed broker from another state. Someone previously licensed as a New Jersey broker within the past 5 years. Someone who has taken equivalent real estate courses in college. New Jersey attorneys, and in some cases, certain applicants who took equivalent pre-licensing course in another state. It's not guaranteed, okay? But you might not have to do the whole 75 hours if you qualify under one of these. All right? Now, criminals. It says right here that no license will be issued to anyone convicted within 5 years, within the preceding 5 years, of forgery, burglary, robbery, any theft other than shoplifting, because shoplifting is okay, criminal conspiracy to defraud, or any like offense. It's not me saying it. It says any theft other than shoplifting. Okay? So if it's shoplifting, you can still get a real estate license. And after 5 years, you can prepare contracts again. You can get into people's homes again. And you can steal everything inside their home again. Not within 5 years, but after 5 years, no problem. Okay? Next. It says New Jersey does not recognize licenses issued in any other state. There's no reciprocity. What does that mean? We don't like them, they don't like us. Simple as that. You have a license in New York? Good for you. You want to have a license in Jersey? Come to class. We don't say, oh, you're licensed in New York? Okay, you could be licensed in Jersey too. Nope, not us. If you're licensed in New York, you have reciprocity with 13 other states. Meaning you go there, you activate your license. We skip Jersey, we get to PA, we're good to go. So New York, PA, they're good. Even attorneys, it's the same thing. Jersey, you have to come to class because apparently we're a whole different type of species. We don't like them. They don't like us. Oh, because of forgery, robbery?
Yeah, New Jersey.
Gotcha. That's what it was. I've been trying to figure out why. Now I know. Whenever you wonder about stuff, you just ask a banker. Now, required experience. Required experience. A candidate for a broker's license must have been continuously employed on a full-time basis as a real estate salesperson during the 3 years immediately preceding the application. Underline where it says 3 years immediately preceding the application. Just underline it. Do you know why? Because if you've been doing this for 20-something years, in the first years you were full-time, but then you decided, let me relax, I'm going to go part-time. And then after all these years, you decide to become a broker. If you were full-time 20 years ago, you're not full-time now. So before you become a broker, you got to have 3 years. We don't care about the 20 years experience. We care that in the past 3 years, you're active, full-time experience. Yes, Steph?
No, that's the next next line.
The next line, what is full-time?
Yeah.
40 hours.
This is what it is. Full-time means that the applicant has worked at least 40 hours a week between the hours of approximately 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. And during that time was not employed elsewhere. Please highlight, underline, put stars, arrows, bubbles. Was not employed elsewhere except on a part-time basis for no more than, circle, 25 hours a week. So can you have a part-time job?
Any type of job.
As long as your job does not have a problem with our license, no problem. And if it's illegal jobs, you can't either. Sorry. What's up? You okay?
Let's just say, okay, I have a full-time job and I want to become a broker.
You participate so much more with Diana.
Because Anna answers the questions for her.
What ends up happening? Who can say that I'm, like, the broker is the one that has to sign off on it?
Pretty much. Be nice to your broker.
Exactly, okay.
So after 3 years, the broker has to sign that you have the sufficient experience. To the best of their knowledge, you have not worked anywhere else except on a part-time basis for no more than 25 hours. And to the best of their knowledge, you are a righteous person, you are a good moral character, and you should become a broker as well.
Oh.
So be nice to your broker. Because if you're not nice, they're going to go like, nope, 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 nope. Sign. Okay? Simple. Just like be nice to your instructor, because I have to sign off on you becoming licensed. I'm just saying.
For the donuts, everybody.
Not donuts. No, not donuts. I gained like 20 pounds already.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why they will bring you all those donuts, because they're brown nose.
Yeah. Well, definitely not apples. I'm just saying.
Pears.
Pears are okay. Chocolates, Hennessy. I mean, it's too early. All right.
How about those little bottle chocolates with it?
Is this your last class?
No.
You know what you bring on the next one. Well, I can't say this because somebody made a review about my class, and I didn't bring it. I don't bring alcohol to the classes, okay? But there was one student that brought alcohol for me, okay? It's fine, as a gift, and I have a whole section just of alcohol because of my students. But that one day they said, oh, we gotta try this one. It's like chocolate vodka. It was very good. But we tried at the end of the class, not during the class. It was like, we're done with the class. Let's go home, right? It was sometime around now. It was like Christmas time, right? But this guy went to put on the reviews. It was a great class, amazing. Bruno's the best, and this and that. And there's the occasional food and alcoholic drinks. I'm like, oh.
No.
I texted him and said, listen, I appreciate the review. We never had alcoholic drinks during class. He goes, no, but at the end okay, then restructure, rephrase, or remove, please, because that's going to make me look bad. It wasn't me, literally. And I have. If you guys went over there to register at the office, there's 2 bottles of Hennessy right there. They're still closed. It was not during class. They're still waiting to be open. You see what I'm saying? Not in class. In class is only coffee. You may want to make this clear. It's coffee, tea, water, and that's it. Creamers. I'll make a statement here, you know? Anyway. Huh?
No coquito. Until the end.
Until the end. There you go. All right. Very good. So be nice to your instructor. Bring the instructor things. The instructor will pass you. Time limit on the application. I told you guys that if once you pass the school exam, you've completed your course. You complete your course, you have up to 1 year to activate your license. From completion of the course, not from state exam. So if you complete our course, let's say today, you go take the state exam 6 months from now, how much time do you have left to activate your license? 6 months. Because it starts from the day I gave you a certificate that says, congratulations, you passed. You got it? And once I give you that certificate, that's the timeline. Always look for completed pre-licensing course on the answers. Non-residents. Can somebody in California have a license in Jersey? Absolutely. As I said before, as long as they qualify the usual way, which is 75 hours, right? And one more thing, they must consent to be sued in the state. Consent to be sued in the state of New Jersey. Okay? Next. Corporations. Can a business become licensed? Can a corporation become licensed? The answer is yes. Otherwise, you wouldn't have RE/MAX, ERA, Century 21, any of those. They get it through their broker. So as long as there's one broker, one officer, that holds a broker's license, then we have a broker of record. We only need one broker at least. And that one broker becomes the broker of record. Can we have 10 brokers? Yes, but only one is responsible for the corporation. That's the requirement to have a corporation license. So you want to open up an agency right now, you don't need to be licensed. You just need to have a partner or a member that is licensed as a broker. You guys understand? Any questions?
So you can have more than one broker of record.
Broker of record, no.
Like, let's say, like, for example, the agency has multiple offices.
Ah.
You can have,
These will be broker salespersons that will be managing those offices.
oh, okay,
The broker of record is still
just one.
one,
Okay.
unless it's an independent office. If it's a branch office, then each office has its own managing broker. It's different from broker of record.
So if I open up like a company, it's me and someone else, and we're both brokers of record. Is that alright?
No.
Or no? Okay.
If-
So only one of us has to act as the broker of record.
One person responsible for everything.
Okay.
Yep. Then you can delegate liability by having a qualified broker salesperson to
Okay.
become the manager of your office or manager of the branch office.
Okay.
Okay? That's why they say each office is independently owned. Those are the ones that have brokers of record. If they say branch office, there's one broker of record and managing broker from now on. Yes.
No, it's good.
We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
She answered herself.
No, I
Sometimes
mean,
she does.
just out of curiosity, if you have multiple offices, so you have then a broker, salesperson managing another office.
Mhm.
I, as a salesperson, speak to my broker of sales.
You're managing. So whoever is handling the office, let's say this is a branch office of that one,
Correct,
right? You guys are my agents.
right,
He's the broker of record.
right, but you're the
Okay.
broker of salesperson, so you manage.
I'm a
this
broker
office.
salesperson. I'm the qualified broker salesperson that manages this office, yes.
So then I
You come
talk
to me.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, you pay me, the
So,
broker of records pays me.
so here's, the way it goes is the broker still pays you. But I'm allowed or authorized to issue a check on his behalf
Okay,
because I'm a manager.
got it.
You got it? So there's authorized officers for certain things.
But then you would be the one, like, you would technically be my broker. Meaning like you're the one that's like signing on the contracts. It
Correct.
wouldn't be him.
Correct. I'll be a qualified person to
Okay.
sign on the contracts, yes. Yeah.
And commission gets split between the three.
What do you mean the three?
Like she's doing the sell, and then the broker's gonna get a commission. She's gonna get a commission.
The office
and then
gets a commission and then
Okay.
the main broker gets a bigger, smaller commission.
Got it. Okay.
So branch office, that's the thing about branch offices. You know, they get a cut. It's almost like a franchise.
So
The
like
cut goes to the
it's
main
split
one.
between everybody there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right? Now, where it says temporary license, we're almost done with this chapter. We'll give you a break in a second. Temporary license. Right above temporary license, I want you to write broker, because it's a temporary broker's license. Temporary broker's license. So what does this mean, temporary broker's license? Well, If a broker dies or becomes mentally or physically incapacitated, and the office has no other brokers to carry on the transactions that are already in progress, then a temporary broker's license may be issued to a salesperson with at least 3 years of experience immediately preceding the application. So if something happens to your broker, knock on wood, and there's no other broker salespersons in the office. You got 3 years of experience, stand up, apply for this temporary license, and you become the interim broker of record. That means you're the one now responsible for everybody at the office. Why would you do this? Because if there's no other broker, who sponsors you? Nobody. And if you don't have a sponsor, what happens to your license? Bye-bye, it gets suspended. And if your license is suspended, inactive, or anything like that, can you get paid for transactions that are in progress? No. So that's why one of us must step up, apply for this temporary license in order for things to continue. Now, congratulations on becoming an interim broker or a temporary broker, but now you need to become the broker of record. How do you do that? You have to complete those qualifications within 1 year. The 150 hours, pass the school exam, pass the state exam, activate your license as the broker of record, and then we can continue. Beyond that 1 year, no extension of time is allowed. Okay? So you have 1 year to complete everything. So people must really trust you to pass the exams. You got it?
Also, basically, if you do that, the temporary license, and then that person comes back, if let's say that something couldn't, and comes
So-
back.
When you're mentally incapacitated, it's a little tough to
I mean, yeah.
clear things. When you die, resurrection is like a biblical thing.
It's like physically, basically, and then they recover from like an accident or something, and then they come back.
So when we talk about physically incapacitated, it's very difficult to address that subject because it's touchy. It could be they can't perform, they do this anymore. If it's a temporary thing, then you might assign somebody temporarily, like in this scenario, yeah. But it's very difficult to determine. For state exam, just know that you're entitled to get this temporary license. So again, you guys, the rest of you, just remember that he meant physically.
Yeah.
No resurrections here. Yeah.
All right.
No, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. They don't get that in detail. Like, what if the person comes back?
If you get a temporary license, do you have to get a permanent license after that, or you can just like,
You can let it. I mean, if you got paid, you can let it go. Screw everybody else.
and then you can get it later on?
You can become a broker later on, but not the
Okay.
broker of record for that office.
Got it. Okay.
That office is going to be dissolved. You got it temporarily for us to complete whatever was pending. But if there's new business coming in, then somebody needs to continue.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it?
Well, I mean, if let's say you're the temporary, but in the meantime, someone else is getting licensing, then they could take over if they've got their licensing.
If you choose to.
If you choose to.
Yeah, because you're the temporary broker now.
Right, let's
Like,
say
if
I.
you allow them.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say I don't want it, so, but there is someone in the process getting their license.
We can always switch.
Okay.
We can always switch. See, this happens all the time, where there's a disability, or I'll give you an example. There's a Remax Millennium in Hillside, and the owner, he has a disability, so now he's on the wheelchair. But I'm not sure if his son or his daughter or something like that, they took over. How did they take over? Well, there were salespeople. They got their temporary license and switched. All right. He just couldn't handle it anymore. He's a great guy. I actually haven't seen him in years, but he's a great guy, great broker. Definitely recommend if you guys ever go there. But somebody else had to take over. I don't even know who's the broker now, but I know somebody temporarily took over when he opened up. There's another place in Cranford, I think it was, a Wycard, that unfortunately the broker became mentally incapacitated. And even though everybody knew about it, it was tough to get her out. Because nobody wants to admit that they're crazy, right? Who wants to admit that I'm not? And when I say crazy, well, you'll admit it anyway. I'll admit
Well,
it too.
that's the first step, is acceptance.
Yeah, but I admit it. I'm crazy. But the thing is, most people they're in denial. Most of the times they're like, no, I'm not going crazy. You're the one saying that I'm making me crazy and all that stuff. So it was tough until finally it was either the brother or son, dad, I'm not sure on that one, brother or the son that took over and then decided to sell the business. He couldn't handle it, right? Because he had a business, he had a salesperson license, but his business was like construction or something like that. So can you assign somebody else? Yes, in the scenario of Remax Millennium, they assigned somebody else. In the scenario of this Weicker, I'm telling you, I'm not sure if it was Cranford or something like that. What they did is he took over just to finish whatever was there and then close the business. Simple as that. Okay? So can you? Yes, you can do whatever you want. You can switch. In our business, we started off with a broker until Pedro finalized his broker's license. And then we just switch. The broker is now a broker salesperson for us. You can do whatever you want. You become a broker, you want to take over, go ahead. Better for me. Does that make sense? We can do whatever we want. As long as it's on paper and the commission approves, no problem. Next. Continuing education requirements. It says all broker salesperson licensees must complete 12 hours of approved continuing education courses before each 2-year license renewal. So every 2 years, as Olga was saying, you have to hear my jokes again. Every 2 years, right before you activate your license. Now, this requirement does not apply to referral agents, and the required courses including at least 2 hours on ethics. Because every 2 years, we got to remind you what's right and what's wrong. Right? 2 hours on ethics should be completed on or before April 30th of the renewal year. When does your license renew?
June 30th.
June 30th. But they're asking you to complete everything 2 months before. Why? Because all licenses renew at the same time. It's not like I have an insurance license as well. It renews on the anniversary, 2 years of the anniversary, of the end of the month of my anniversary. So August 31st is when mine renews. Every 2 years. This one, no, it's not based on your birth month. It's based on June 30th. So imagine over 100,000 licenses renewing at the same time. That's why they ask you that at least 2 months before you complete your CE credits, it's in their system and everything gets renewed right away. If it's within those 2 months, May 1st to June 30th, you have to pay an additional $200. And believe me, they make a whole lot of money every year just on $200 fines. Ask the question.
When, for instance, you only have to renew next year, right?
Me? No.
No, in 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
In 30 days, you can say next year.
Can you take the 12 hours in January of the year before or no?
And see, now you're thinking like a logical person would think. See, as of July 1st, let me go back up. As of July 1st, because this is the end period of your license, as of July 1st, you can begin you want to do your 12 hours July 1st? Do it. You want to do your 12 hours throughout the next year and a half? Do it. You should. In fact, every year, just like next week, we're going to have the Realtors Convention, the Triple Play in Atlantic City. You go for the Realtors Expo, right? PA, New York, and Jersey, they all meet there. It's the only thing that ever happens in Atlantic City anymore, right? And they all meet there to learn about new techniques of listings and all that stuff, marketing, drone usage, indoor photos, outdoor photos. Like there's a bunch of short sales foreclosures, a bunch of courses, bless you. There's a bunch of courses offered every year at the Triple Play. Most of those courses qualify you for your CE credits. So why not? Do you have to wait till last minute? No. But yeah, there's a lot of people that wait till last minute and $200 fines.
So you basically have from the following day of
July 1st.
July 1st, 2 years before you can already complete the 12
July
hours
1st of the renewal year
Right.
till April 30th of the expiration year.
Right, I'm sorry. Okay.
So a year and a half they have to complete.
So for example, we're 2021, and you have 3 hours.
Yes.
So anytime before
Anytime.
April.
Well, the good news for you guys is that because you're a new license, you don't need to see credits if it's within 1 year.
Right.
If it's within 1 year.
Right.
So let's say you activate your license July 1st of 2020, you don't need CE credits.
Right.
If you activate
still
your
choose
license,
to do them, right?
you should, because education is key.
Right.
Now, I'm assuming you also teach that course.
CE credits?
Well, the 12 hours of approved continuing education, CE.
I might.
Now, is that something that?
Don't
that's-
ask for discounts, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Huh? Don't ask for what?
Discounts.
No, that's not what I was asking.
No, I'm just asking.
Part of the package.
No.
I think I saw a 10% coupon for that. No, is that, so that's like 12 hours that then like you have like a different course for?
So it'll be at least 2 hours on ethics, as it says here, and then it could be, there's core subjects and there's elective subjects. So we can talk about foreclosures, short sales, we can talk about office management.
It's not like, oh, you come in to like this class.
No.
It's like completely separate, has nothing to do with us.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, completely separate.
I didn't know if you came in for the foreclosure chapter kind of thing. And that would
We don't
be
have a
sufficient.
foreclosure chapter.
No, like when we speak about like.
we like 10
foreclosures
minutes
and stuff
briefly
like that.
touching foreclosures.
Right, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was like a chapter that you could fill in that would like adapt
No.
into the 12 hours.
No. Totally separate courses, yeah.
Courses.
And every 2 years is different.
Oh, okay.
Do you remind us to that reminder?
Of course. I'll even send you the link to purchase. If you buy now, it's cheaper. Now, failure to renew.
All right. 10% discount. Jot that down.
Oh, some people called, I remember at the other school, some people called last minute. They're like a month away from ending the period. So like, let's say March, and they're trying to schedule. Like we were already booked. Like, because we go to also to real estate agencies. So we already booked the whole month, and these people want emergency CE credits. Right, sure, you just double the price. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's demand. It's not my fault.
I get it.
Yeah.
January 2020.
That's it, market
You'll be
account.
seeing us there.
Now, let's say you forget all that I said right now, and you don't do your CE credits, and you don't renew. Failure to renew for 2 consecutive years or more after the expiration of the last license makes you what? Void. What does that mean?
No good. Done.
That if you want to do real estate again, you have to come back to class. Same jokes. Just always a quick reminder. What are the license fees? It says right here, $160 for a salesperson, $160 for a referral agent, $270 for a broker. Now, the cost of the initial license includes application, criminal history record check, real estate guarantee fund fees, right? So everything is not just 160 just because.
So when do we pay that? Is that when we're actually
Activating a license.
activating the license?
Yep. So you bring to your broker with the PSI exam and the fingerprinting receipt. You bring all that to your sponsoring broker, they send it to the state, and gets activated. Now, renewal fees are $100, so every 2 years you have to pay $100 as a salesperson or a referral agent. If you're a broker, you got to pay $200 every 2 years. Okay? It's a whole lot of money, isn't it?
So you better do something with it.
Yeah. Do people do it? No. Are you going to do it? Yes. All right. Now, a broker who goes out of business. Next page on top. A broker who goes out of business must close out the escrow account, remove the signs, notify clients, and provide the commission with a name and address where past records will be available for 6 years. Make sure you underline or circle 6 years. We're going to talk about it several times throughout the book.
So you can't buy out a business?
You can. It says a broker who goes out of business. If you buy the business, then do they go out of business? No. So you just take over
Like they can't change the name?
of the company.
Yeah.
try. Well, you open up a new business or a DBA.
What happens if you merge them together?
Merge who? It's a DBA, doing business as. So we have to understand the LLC name and the business name could be two separate things. I can call myself 123 LLC, doing business as New Direction Realty.
Right.
So if it changes, so you're thinking about Weichert mergers or like for instance, yeah, okay. So let's say here on Adams Street we had New Group Realty. New Group Realty became New Group Weichert New Group Realty, right? The underlying LLC is still the same. The doing business as is what changes because they're now new. They're not New Group Realty. They're now New Group Weichert or Weichert New Group, something like that.
Okay.
So that's what changes. Can we erase the previous one and create everything new? We can, but we have to notify the real estate commission. Can somebody take over? It's a little tough, but it's possible. It depends on the corporate structure. For instance, I purchased New Direction Realty from somebody because we had New Direction Insurance, New Direction Group, and all that stuff. And I found that New Direction Realty existed with a lady in Tom's River. So I went there and I purchased the name. Big mistake because I couldn't do anything with it because of her corporate structure. She had it as a sole proprietor and not as an LLC or corp. So sole proprietors cannot be transferred. They're sole proprietors. It's you doing business as, right? So real estate commission said, nope, there's nothing we can do. So we wasted money for no reason.
Could she dissolve it?
Huh?
Could she dissolve it?
No. So the business was inactive. I purchased the name.
Right, okay.
I gave her something for the name. It was my mistake because when I did the research, I saw New Group Realty and I assumed, big mistake, after all these years I should know that you shouldn't assume stuff, that if you're in real estate and you have a business name, you should have it under LLC or Corp. No, sole proprietor. So it is what it is. So can you change? Yes, it all depends on, or maybe, depends on the structure.
But I guess that's fine because then you just continue your records anyway for 6 years.
Well, okay, so you're asking about if you keep the same exact name, same exact everything, and just changes the broker, yeah, records needs to stay because it's under that business. But even if you close down, even if the previous broker steps out, right, all the information should have been kept aside, and who's liable for that up to that date? The previous broker. Okay? Because remember,
The owner doesn't take that with them.
it depends on what the dealing is and what type of liability they're willing to take on. But usually goes after the broker who was responsible during that period of time. Okay? All right, next. Licensing procedure. You guys already know this, you don't have to highlight. You got to do 75 hours. You have to submit the score report. You have to have $160 payable to the state treasurer of New Jersey. And we talked about fingerprinting. That's number 3 right there. With fingerprinting, I told you guys that you can go to the private group, search fingerprint, and it gives you the exact same info that I have here, which is where to do the fingerprinting scheduling, and right here at the bottom, the form that's needed for the fingerprinting. So I have the updated link. This link, for some reason, is not working, the one here in the book. But I have the updated link in on the Facebook group. Okay? Salesperson or referral agent license examination. It says right here, New Jersey license examinations are administered by the testing service PSI Services LLC. We don't do the state exam, we do the school exam for you to get the certificates. Once you get the school certificate, I'm going to enter you into the system, PSI system. You're going to receive an email from psiexams.com with a link for you to register. Okay? And that link, this is just information purposes, not for state exam. But in that link, it says what to put down, all the information, all the steps. You have up to 4 hours to complete the state exam. And reservations must be made at least 4 days in advance if it's through the online access, or 1 day in advance if it's over the phone. I always recommend that you pick up the phone as soon as you pass my exam and I enter you into the system, so you receive the email. You pick up the phone and schedule for next day. Get it done while it's fresh. If you're able to pass my exam, you're able to pass the state. Get it done while it's fresh. I have a lot of people that make the mistake and go like, Bruno, now I have to study. Wait, what have you been doing so far? You already studied. You passed mine. Now go. Get out of here. Go take the state. You guys got it? While it's fresh. The exam is $45, so every time you go there, it's $45. So make sure you only go once.
Do you know what their scheduling is like? Like, is it usually like
9 to 2:30, I think it is. The latest
trying to
appointment.
think like with work and stuff? It's
Yeah. But you do have Saturdays, I don't know.
oh, they do it on Saturdays?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay? Cool. So these are some of the examination centers. Once you get online, you put your zip code. It tells you which one is the nearest for you. Okay? I usually recommend New Providence or the shops at North Brunswick. Why? Because traffic to these locations is not as bad. If you go to Secaucus or Paramus, make sure you live close by. Otherwise, avoid them. Or even Parsippany. Avoid them because of traffic. You want to make sure you get to the exam with your mind clear and ready to take the exam, not with road rage. Okay? What do you need to bring? 2 forms of ID. One of them must be a government-issued photo ID. So driver's license, passport, whatever. The second one could be a debit card, credit card, bill that shows your name, address, whatever you want. But one of them, photo ID. The examination, you're asked to arrive at least 30 minutes before for registration purposes. And it includes 80 general real estate questions. Approximately 10% of these are math questions. And in case you guys don't know what 10% is, it's 8. Sorry, I had to do this because it's a math question. We have a chapter just for math, so don't worry about it. And 30 questions specifically on New Jersey real estate. So 80 questions general real estate, 30 questions specific to New Jersey real estate. The passing rate is 70%, and the examinations are scored immediately. I want you guys to write somewhere next to the 70%, it's 77 correct answers. Because a lot of you contact me after the exam and says, Bruno, you told me 70%, I had 73. No, you had 73 correct of 110. Therefore, you had less than 70. You had like 68%. You guys understand? So it says 70%, but it's 77, at least 77 correct answers to pass. Next, after successfully completing the state examination, the sponsoring broker will notify the state of the new salesperson association, and the new salesperson may begin working as soon as his or her name appear on the state's licensee name search. So, you submit everything to the state. Until your name pops up in this search, you're not active to do business under your name. Can you start doing real estate transactions? Yes, just not under your name. Can you start participating in the trainings? Yes. Can you shadow somebody? Yes. Can you put a contract under your name? No. Until your name pops up. You guys got it? So if you have leads, there's a lot of people that say, oh, I have a bunch of people waiting for me to get my license to buy and sell. If you take too long, they're going to buy and sell with somebody else. Start looking for a broker now. Partner up with that broker. And maybe you can start doing the deals now and get paid even a referral fee. Does that make sense? You gain experience. You don't get paid as much, but you get paid something. You earn while you learn. It's the best thing ever. Okay? So this is just a few suggestions. You don't have to do it, obviously. You can get the full commission for yourselves. Or none if your buyers go somewhere else. Or sellers go somewhere else. CE credits we already talked about. Right on top, guarantee fund. So the guarantee fund is pretty much to protect you guys, or to reimburse the members of the public, protect the public from you guys. That's what I was trying to say. From your mistakes. All right? Now it says right here that the party must first obtain a court judgment, naming the real estate commission as a party to the suit. Court judgment, naming the real estate commission as a party to the suit. They also must file a criminal claim against the offending party. The maximum payments for a single claim is $20,000 per offense. That means the guarantee fund will pay out max $20,000 every time that you screw up. The thing is, right at the bottom, once they pay out, your license is revoked. This could be a question, so make sure you pay attention. Your license is revoked until the fund is reimbursed with interest. It's not revoked for a year. It's not revoked for 5 years. It's revoked until you pay back with interest. So if they pay $20,000, you got to pay the $20,000 plus interest back. Then they'll consider your license back. Okay? You guys got it? Potential question. Just sitting there. I'm just saying.
How often does something like that happen?
You go to njdovi.gov and you're going to go just for fun. Go search the enforcement section. How often does it happen? Every year there's somebody getting fined. Yeah. There's over 100,000 of us out here. There's always somebody screwing up. There's always somebody with improper training. There's always somebody that did something.
But now,
Always.
so in a case like this, it's the salesperson and then the broker as well? So it's 2 hits, always.
If the broker had guilty knowledge, we'll talk about that in the next chapter. But if the broker had guilty knowledge of what was happening, yeah, we all get hit.
But now is the broker just going to blame the salesperson who's going to...
Of course. I never knew that you were forging documents.
But you told me to.
Right? That'll be awesome. But broker, you told me.
You told me.
All right, interstate property. What does the word interstate mean? I'm sorry? Between different states. Interstate is different states. So out of state, that's what I want you to write. Out of state. Okay? Now, it says right here, the rules of real estate commission contain complex requirements that must be met before any out-of-state land can be sold in New Jersey to residents of the state. The regulations contained in the Real Estate Sales Full Disclosure Act are intended, please highlight, underline, put stars, intended to protect the public from unscrupulous developers or marketers or from undue sales pressure. Gotcha.
It gives me migraines when it's too hot.
Well, good news, at the new location we can regulate it. Bad news, at the new location you won't be there.
No, about the music.
I'm sorry?
I'll pull an Anna.
Oh, no. All right, so now Stephanie's going to tell Anna to check the morning videos. If it's interstate properties or subdivided land sales, then the buyers have up to, please underline, 7 calendar days to cancel contracts for the purchase or lease of such lands. 7 calendar days. On the right-hand side, it says recent real estate commission. This is right above rental referral agencies. Recent real estate commission rules also address non-New Jersey properties that are advertised in New Jersey in languages other than English. Please highlight, underline, put arrows, bubbles, whatever you got to put. But subsequent forms must be made available to prospective purchasers in the same language as was used in the original advertisement. So what am I saying here? I advertise to you in Portuguese. Every single document after that must be in Portuguese. If I advertise to you in Japanese, Every single document after that, including contracts, must be in Japanese. That's what it says. If it's advertised in a language other than English. Why is that? To protect the public. Because there's a lot of people that hear the advertisements on their TV. Let's say I'm following the Hispanic TV, Portuguese TV, the French TV, whatever I'm watching, and somebody's talking to me in my language. Now, I understood that, but then here comes the paperwork in English. How am I going to understand it? Does that make sense? So it's to protect the public from those scams, because advertising to a particular group in their language, but then not putting it on paper, caused a lot of problems not too long ago. Okay, that's why it says recent real estate commission rules. Okay, so not too long ago, they were buying property out of state in West Palm Beach, to be more specific, and they're buying property down there. But when they got there, what they paid for from the advertisement was pre-construction prices. What does that mean? That there's no house yet. But they sold their house here, or they quit their jobs here, and they moved down to Florida. They got there, dirt. I mean, they're going to get the house, it's just that not right away. You guys understand? So this is to protect, and the prospectus with information of what they're buying must be in their language to make sure they understand everything. You got it? As far as rental referral agencies, a rental, can we help a landlord rent their units? Yes, we can. But if we expect to get paid for helping them, right, then we must have a real estate license and enter into a written contract with each prospective tenant. In fact, this contract must specify such things to be services to be performed, fees charged, date and term of the contract, and even a refund policy. So it must state, I'm going to help you find a property. You got to pay me up front X amount of dollars, and this is the refund policy, if any. You could say no refunds, but it has to be clear about it. Okay? The next three paragraphs there we're going to talk about in a different chapter, so don't worry about it. And this is the best part of each chapter. Summary. That means we're done with this chapter, okay? All right, so I'm going to end the live real quick. If anybody needs to grab coffee, tea, go to the bathroom, take advantage while I set up the next live, okay?